The 2024 Summer Olympic Games just finished up in Paris this past weekend, and as we all know, the USA men and women's basketball teams both beat France to bring home the gold medal this year. The United States has always been dominant in Olympic basketball. As for the women, this is their 8th consecutive gold medal, and for the men, this is their 5th. As I just mentioned, dominance for the United States in Olympic basketball has always been a common theme, and while they might not have absolutely dominated this year in terms of point spread, both men's and women's squads got the job done and brought home the gold. Basketball was introduced into the Olympics in 1936, and since its implementation, the United States men's team has won 17 out of 21 gold medals. And to go along with that, the women's team has won 10 gold medals to bring USA's gold medal count in basketball to a total of 27. Now, as I just mentioned, there have been 21 gold medals handed out for Olympic basketball, and the United States has won 17 of those, which is just a little over 80%. So to say that USA dominates Olympic basketball would be an understatement. The United States' most dominant stretch came from 1936 to 1968, when they won 7 gold medals in a row, and like I mentioned earlier in the video, the US's current streak is 5 gold medals, so they are on pace to break that record. Now in the past, in the Olympics, it always seemed that the USA really had no competition, was always the heavy favorite, and would always blow out their opponents. And while they still were the favorites this year, and they got the job done, that competition gap seems to be narrowing more and more every single year. In terms of how Olympic basketball is structured, there are 12 teams with 12 players. So if we do our math, that's 144 total players. And from the Paris Olympic Games, 81 out of these 144 players were from the NBA. This is a major increase from the Tokyo Games, which were just 3 years ago in 2021, as there were only 65 players from the NBA, and now there are 81, with an increase of 16 players in just 3 years. So like I mentioned, that competition gap is getting more narrow each year. And there's 12 roster spots on a team. That means the US has 12 players from the NBA, which leaves us with 69 other players from the NBA dispersed throughout other rosters. A lot of big name NBA players come from teams like Serbia, France, and Germany. Serbia is one of the best players in the league right now, Nikola Jokic, Bogdan Bogdanovic, and Nikola Jovic, not to be confused with Jokic. France is led by young superstar Victor Wembanyama, who is only 20 years old, Rudy Gobert, and Nicolas Batum. So the future for France looks very bright. And another big name from the NBA is Dennis Schroeder, who plays for Germany. So my point here with all this is the competition isn't what it used to be like. In past Olympics, the United States would always destroy whoever they played, but that was clearly not the case this year. And as I mentioned, there are physically more NBA players in the Olympics than there ever have been, and just from watching the game, you can tell how close the competition is. In the United States semifinal game against Serbia, they trailed by 17 points in the second half, but Curry put the team on his back and had 36 points and 9 threes to help them overcome that 17-point deficit and advance them to play France in the gold medal game. And while they didn't face a 17-point deficit in that gold medal game against France, it wasn't a blowout by any means, and it was a really close and fun game to watch. So the competition is clearly getting harder and more challenging for Team USA, but despite this, they still rally together, put America on their back, and go bring home the gold medal for their country. And I would certainly say that there is a strong case that this is the best basketball team of all time. I know when we talk about the best basketball teams of all time, the Dream Team from 1992 always comes into discussion, and that's definitely valid. This roster was loaded. They had Charles Barkley, Larry Bird, Patrick Ewing, Magic Johnson, MJ, Karl Malone, Scottie Pippen, David Robinson, John Stockton, and that's not even the full complete roster. This team was on a whole nother level in the tournament in the Olympics. Their smallest margin of victory was 38 points. Not their largest, their smallest. It came against the semifinals in Puerto Rico, and when they won 119 to 81. And their largest margin of victory was in their first game against Cuba, when they won 136 to 57 with a point differential of 79. So it's tough to say for sure if this 2024 Olympic team is truly the best team of all time, as the Dream Team makes a really strong case. But a big thing, like I mentioned, is the competition. In '92, the Dream Team had no competition. Like I said, their smallest margin of victory was 38 points, whereas in 2024, there is so much more competition for Team USA, but despite this, they still are able to bring home the gold. And aside from the competition, the medals, and the stats, something about this team just being led by LeBron, Curry, and KD feels extra special and different. This was the first time that LeBron, Curry, and KD all played on the same team together, and it was really fun to watch. The competition being better also makes it more fun to watch because, to be honest, nobody likes 79-point blowouts. And those last 2 games against France and Serbia, I don't know about you guys, but watching those just lit a fire in me. It made me so passionate to be an American sports fan, and watching those guys rally around each other, overcome a 17-point deficit, and truly put the country on their back was so fun to watch, and I enjoyed every second of it. And these guys are getting old and are likely to retire soon. And this could very well be the last time they ever play in the Olympics and suit up for Team USA and rep the red, white, and blue on the hardwood, which is kind of sad. And so just thinking about this and watching the games, like I said, you could throw all the stats out the window. Just watching these games, the feel, the vibe, and the energy from this team is unlike anything I've ever watched in sports. And to be a fan and follow along with it was a truly amazing experience, which is why I think this could very well be the best basketball team in history. That's gonna be it for this video. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. And if you're a real one, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any content, especially with college football season right around the corner. I really appreciate all you guys for tuning in and taking the time to watch the video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.